Here's a chilling horror story based on the legends surrounding the Bell Witch Cave in Tennessee. The Whisper in the Dark. A Bell Witch Cave story. Tennessee air hung thick and humid, smelling of damp earth and decaying leaves. Mark adjusted his headlamp, its beam cutting a shaky path into the oppressive blackness of the Bell Witch Cave entrance. Beside him, Chloe nervously tightened the straps of her backpack. "You sure about this, Mark?" she whispered, her voice swallowed almost instantly by the cave's silence. "This place, it gives me the creeps even before we go in." "Come on, Chloe," Mark grinned, though it felt forced. "It's just a cave, famous, yeah, but famous for stories. We're history buffs. Remember, we wanted to see where the legend lived." "The legend?" "The Bell Witch." Even saying the name felt like tempting fate. Stories of a malevolent entity tormenting the Bell family in the early 1800s. Pinching, scratching, speaking in disembodied voices, predicting the future, even poisoning John Bell himself. And deep within this very cave system, legend said, the witch made her home. They squeezed through the narrow limestone opening, the cool, damp air hitting them like a physical wall. The outside world vanished, replaced by the echoing drip of water, the crunch of their boots on loose rock, and the oppressive weight of the earth above them. Mark's headlamp beam danced over glistening wet walls, casting monstrous, shifting shadows. "It's smaller than I imagined," Chloe murmured, her voice barely a breath. The air felt heavy, thick with silence that wasn't quite silent. It buzzed. With an unseen energy dot, they ventured deeper, following the main passage. The beam caught strange formations. A face in the rock here, a claw-like stalactite there. Chloe kept glancing over her shoulder, convinced she saw movement in the peripheral, gloom just beyond the light. "Did you hear that?" she hissed, grabbing Mark's arm. They froze. Silence. Then, a faint, distant sound. Not water. A sigh. A low chuckle. It seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere. "Just the wind or water trickling somewhere," Mark said, trying to sound confident. But his own heart hammered against his ribs. The air grew noticeably colder. They reached a wider chamber, known locally as the Witch's Den. A large, strangely smooth boulder dominated the center. Chloe shivered violently. "It's freezing in here." Mark checked his phone. No signal. And the temperature. "It's dropped 10 degrees since we entered." His light swept the chamber walls. Something caught his eye. Scratches, deep and unnatural, high up on the limestone, like claws. Suddenly, Chloe screamed. A rock, small but sharp, struck her shoulder. It clattered to the ground. They spun around, beams searching frantically. Nothing. "Okay, that's it," Chloe gasped, tears welling. "We're leaving, now?" Mark nodded, his bravado gone. Yeah, let's go." They turned back the way they came, moving faster now, stumbling on the uneven floor. The beam from Mark's headlamp flickered, dimmed, then surged back. Then came the voice. It wasn't loud. It was soft, sibilant, seeming to emanate from the rock itself, right beside Mark's ear. A woman's voice, but ancient and filled with venomous amusement. "Leaving so soon, John?" Mark froze. Ice water seemed to flood his veins. Chloe whimpered beside him. Who said that?" Mark stammered, swinging his light wildly. Empty darkness swallowed the beam. The voice came again, this time from behind Chloe, a chilling whisper that slithered into her ear. "Did you bring the pretty one for me, like little Betsy?" Chloe cried out, clapping her hands over her ears. "Make it stop." The laughter started then. Not one voice, but many high-pitched cackles, low guttural chuckles, childish giggles, echoing, overlapping, bouncing off the walls until the very cave seemed to laugh at them. It was a sound of pure malice. "Run!" Mark yelled, grabbing Chloe's hand. They fled, scrambling back through the narrow passage. Rocks seemed to shift under their feet. Pebbles rained down from the ceiling. The laughter followed them, growing louder, more insistent, morphing into shrieks of rage. The cold deepened, biting into their bones. Mark's headlamp flickered again, then died completely, plunging them into utter, suffocating blackness. Chloe screamed, pure terror ripping from her throat. In the absolute dark, the voice returned. It wasn't a whisper now. It was clear, cold, and filled with ancient hunger. It seemed to come from directly in front of them, blocking their escape. "You came into my house." Something brushed past Mark's face in the dark, cold, damp, like rotting cloth. The smell of wet earth and something foul, like decayed teeth, filled his nostrils. Chloe sobbed uncontrollably. "Stay," the voice commanded, a sound like grinding stones. "Play." Panic gave Mark a surge of adrenaline. He fumbled in his pocket, pulling out a small backup flashlight. He clicked it on. The weak beam illuminated the passage just ahead. "Empty. Go." He shoved Chloe forward. They stumbled, crawled, and scrambled, driven by primal fear. The shrieks intensified behind them, now sounding like a chorus of tormented souls. The air vibrated with unseen fury. They felt icy fingers plucking at their clothes, their hair. Somehow, they burst through the narrow entrance, collapsing onto the sun-drenched grass outside, gasping and weeping. The sudden warmth and light were almost painful. The cave mouth yawned. Behind them, silent now, no laughter, no whispers, just the peaceful sounds of the Tennessee woods. They lay there for a long time, shaking, unable to speak. When they finally dared to look back at the dark opening, it seemed to stare back, a silent, malevolent eye in the hillside. Later, back at their car, Mark noticed something. 3 long, parallel scratches ran down the back of Chloe's jacket, deep enough to tear the fabric. They hadn't been there before they entered the cave, and as they drove away, the silence in the car was thick. Both knew, without a doubt, that the legends were true. The Bell Witch wasn't just a story. She was real. She was in the cave, and she remembered visitors. She remembered names. The cave wasn't empty. It was occupied.